Hello there. Last time we started in a very similar place to this, and we all know by now that that tunnel is leading to our new underground station. But for this video, I just wanted to jump backwards and forwards a little bit and lay out the whole city plan so that you can understand how the geography works between each part that we're building. Ultimately, we've established 3 separate tiers to our Lego city. The lowest going to be the underground. The middle is this square and the main road layout leading into Diagon Alley. And the third at this stage is the overground train line that runs across the top of the night bus in the back there. I really wanted to get this mini telephone build into my city, but I haven't really got a space for it just yet, so I'm going to tuck it in behind there under the bridge for now. At a later date it will probably go further along the mock. Now for the most part, Diagon Alley is already at that middle height with the train line running underneath, so I'm using these 16 by 32 plates to build some substructure for the leaky cauldron, and then moving on from that we'll build the subterranean level for the main square. I've tried to maintain the L gauge sort of standard for the train line as it runs across base plates, so that as we do grow the city, it will grow naturally and compatibly with the next parts. This section is going to hold a return loop for the track, and later as we see it in the full layout, it will become clear that that line that runs across the front of Diagon Alley will then have to turn somewhere and return back across the layout, and that's what it will do under that Lego store mock. Meanwhile, at the front of the mock, the first 16 studs is where the track will turn, and then as we've already seen in the finished underground station, it will then angle itself back to run parallel with that other track by the time it comes out the other side of those two 32 by 32 plates. So if we then take a look down from the top view, you'll be able to see how that will run under Grimmauld Place and run parallel with the underground station. So you'll have 2 lines of track, one at the back, completely invisible, and then one at the front where we'll be able to see the train come in and out of tunnels. I actually still haven't got round to lifting Ollivanders off of its base plate and putting it in the air yet, mainly because this front train line, as it runs along and out of the tunnel across the front of Diagon Alley, will have to eventually go back in, I think, when we accommodate some sort of Gringotts mock or a real Gringotts set if it comes. I'm hoping that that is just as simple as turning it diagonally backwards, similarly to the way we've done in the underground station, and tucking it back underneath the other Diagon Alley sets. And as you can see, it'll loop back across the back and then somewhere out the other side. The next thing to consider is to put that road back on top and consider our third level, which is the overground train line that will hopefully run directly above the other train line but attached to the back of the Diagon Alley sets, so raised up 2 or 3 floors, so it kind of floats above the whole city. We of course already have it laid out across the road, and it will look quite cool just poking out the top of Grimmauld Place, especially once we've got some trains running. And then, as I say, hopefully we'll attach it to the back of the Diagon Alley stores as well, so that it runs sort of in between the stores as you view it across the skyline. So let's get the main square and Grimmauld Place lifted to that new height as well, and see if we can get that underground station in underneath. So here we have it. The Diagon Alley has its hill climbing up to the middle level, and the underground station, as we move along here, is now in. There are still some discrepancies in the height. I'm not completely fixed on exactly what height each section is going to be and what my standard is. It obviously has to be able to clear the height of a train, but the underground train that I've designed so far is considerably less height than a normal train. I'll leave you with a few little overview shots of the train station, and in the meantime I'll tinker and perfect those heights and hopefully come back with you when we extend the underground station to a above ground entrance and some escalators and other nice little additions to our underground scenes. And so I'll see you on the next one.